an absolute icon, a legend who has a resume that's quite admirable. You can see him now in BET's Family Business, New Orleans. In addition to that, he's been seen with Toni Braxton, also Dante's Cove, Their Eyes Were Watching God, Abbott Elementary, The Shy, and of course, we can't forget As Wade in the iconic series Noah's Ark. I got to catch a breath after that little bit of resume. That's not even the whole thing. Jensen Atwood, how are you?
Woo! I'm good, man. Nice intro.
First of all, how long have you been acting now? Because it's been a long time.
Man, I've been pursuing this professional entertainment career since 1998.
Damn. That sound like you was with George Washington and them the way you said that. I was like, what keeps you going?
Uh Purpose. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I truly feel like I'm walking God's path for me.
Mm.
I feel like I'm doing what God wanted me to do on this earth. I didn't know how it would all unfold when I started. But the more I walk on this path, the clearer the picture gets. And entertainment for me is something that's always been a part of me. And so I got to a point in my life where I felt like I needed to figure out what I was doing with my life, what my purpose was, and also how I was going to pay my bills. And so it seemed like, as hard of a question as it was, an easy answer to why don't I just try to make money doing what I've always done, which is entertain, whether it was telling stories or dancing, um, just always performing. And so I got into class and I started sharpening my tools. Um, and then once I started booking work, you know, I was blessed enough to book something like Noah's Ark that showed me that what I did could be more than just entertainment. It could actually make a difference in people's lives.
We're going to get to that in a little bit, but let's take a step back really quickly. So tell us a little bit about where you're from and what life was like for you growing up.
Wow. I am from South Central Los Angeles, California. Surviving, that was my earliest experiences. Crips and the Bloods was definitely a part of my growing up. Um, I recall being in a crossfire or shot at probably 8 times before the age of 18. I really didn't think I would make it past the age of 18 because a lot of my friends were murdered. And
Mhm.
so it just felt like that was the natural progression of a black man in America in South Central LA. So once I made it past 18, it's been like a bonus life.
How does that shape your worldview? Being a young black man and seeing this so early in life, how does that shape your worldview? And have you had to change anything? And if you've had to change it, what have you had to change?
I know this is a good question. I feel like that's one of those I need to really think on because I know that it has shaped a large part of who I am in probably more ways than I even understand. One thing I think that's coming through in my head is uh, the idea of figuring out what's important and what's not important, what's serious and what's not serious. Um, there were a lot of real life issues that I had to deal with growing up to where now as an adult, the little stuff, I don't sweat the little stuff as much because I have a clearer idea of life and death and what truly is important and what is just, made up issues or made up drama.
Well, let's get into that because I like that you say being able to identify what is important. What's important to you right now?
Family, God, and making enough money, which for me, it has to do with acting, with booking gigs. It's not just me making money because everybody's like, well, why don't you get into this and why don't you get into that? And I don't want to make my money doing that. I want to make my money uh, with my calling as an actor.
When did you discover your passion for acting?
It's something that I've always done. My mom sang. My brother is an artist as well, and so it was kind of in the family in that way. Um, and so it was just like I said, a realization of what do I want to do with my life, uh, and how am I going to make money doing it? Um, throughout my career, I definitely pray for signs from God that I'm on the right path. And there's definitely been signs throughout the years that have showed me that I'm still on the right path and doing what I'm supposed to be doing in life.
Well, it sounds like you also view doing this as a part of a spiritual journey too, and very faith inspired.
It is. It's purposeful for me. It's my vocation, as I like to say.
Let's get into one of my personal favorite pieces of work that you've been involved with, and that is Their Eyes Are Watching God. You work with both Halle Berry, which is great, but also Ruby Dee.
Yeah.
What were those experiences like?
Oh man, it was epic, man. It was especially at the time. I mean, that was a little while ago as well. So I was still pretty new to the business. I remember, oh, this is the good one. I remember getting that call. I was in my agent's office. Um, I had I had what was it? So I had a couple different agents. At the time, I had a dance agent and I had a theatrical agent or an acting agent. And I'm trying to remember if they were both one and the same. I don't remember, but I do remember being in my dance agent, which was Rodney Chester, who plays Alex on Noah's Ark, was my agent. I remember being in his offices, and getting a call saying that no, I'm trying. This is like I said, this was a minute ago. I don't remember getting the call, and that's why I don't remember if it was through him or if it was through another agent. But I do remember calling my mama and telling her that I booked the gig, and somehow ending up underneath someone's desk, you know, crying. It was tears of joy, but it was a big deal for me. It was a
Yeah.
big deal for me at the time. Yeah.
You got on set, and then you meet these two folks, both icons, in the business. So what were those experiences like?
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro.
Tell it all.
At the time, I was single. I thought Hallie was single. She just had a breakup, I want to say at the time with maybe it was Eric Benet. And so I thought this was my chance. And so on set, I mean, we would talk and it felt magical.
Yeah,
It felt wonderful. And then Michael Ealy would show up. I'll be like, man, you're not even working today, bro. Like, give me a chance.
right.
Give me a shot. Why are you always popping up every time we get into some kind of moment? And then it turns out at the time they were keeping it a secret, but they were actually dating at the time. It came out afterwards, that they were dating, and then I was able to be like, oh, that's why he kept popping up. So
But you still, I mean, we saw it. You still got to kiss Halle Berry. Were you
yeah,
nervous?
with my own lips. Was I nervous? I guess a little bit nervous, more excited than anything. Definitely didn't want to blow it,
Right.
so I probably ate more breath mints in my life that day than I ever have, or that any human should probably eat.
Had him like a little bowl of cereal.
Exactly. But it was awesome, man. There was even a time, there was a moment when so we went through like, some blocking as far as movement, what would be happening in the scene. And we went to go shoot. And when we shot the first take, um, I am very much in the scene. I am very much uh, Johnny Taylor. I am the character. I am in the moment, and there's a beautiful woman screaming my name and running towards me, and she's holding her dress so she doesn't trip on her dress, and the dress is flowing, her hair is flowing, this face is coming closer and closer towards me. The dress is, coming up a little bit so she can run, so them legs is coming out too, and I'm in the moment, and it's the sun is shining, and the wind is blowing, and the world is the birds are chirping and shit, and she gets to me, and I have a line, and she's looking at me and she's smiling, and I'm looking at her and I'm smiling, and then the director says cut, and I'm like in my head, oh shit, I was supposed to say some lines. But I was so just caught up in the moment, and I look at the director like, oh shit, and he look at me like, I understand.
he understood.
And Hallie actually said, she was like, were, were we supposed to run lines? And I was like, uh-oh. And then that's when the director looked at me. He was like, next take.
So he was pretty lenient. What was it like working with Ruby D?
I unfortunately didn't get to chat with her as much as I would have liked to. But it was an honor, and it was a blessing. I mean, she is iconic, and so just to have footage of her and I together on screen is, I mean, yeah, I don't have any words for that. It's like, it's amazing.
So of course, we got to talk about the series where a lot of us were first introduced to Jensen Atwood as Wade, and that is Noah's Ark. When you found out you were going to be a part of such an iconic series that highlighted such important issues, how'd you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, there was no talk of any of those things back in the day, and I want to say that was probably 2001 when we started Noah's Ark, because we started online first, before we shot the series.
It was hot chocolate, right?
It was initially, when I got the script, it was called Hot Chocolate, and when I read the script and saw what I was supposed to be doing, I was like, shit, I ain't doing that. And the script sat, it just sat around, and it got me thinking, as to the whys. That's why I wouldn't do it. And ultimately the why was because of fear, because I was scared. I was scared at testing my own sexuality,
Mhm.
and I was also scared of what would come from it. And so, I reached out to all the people that I respected in the entertainment business, most of them being casting directors, the people that are directly responsible for me booking or not booking work. And almost every single one of them was like, "You're an actor, right?" Like, yeah. They're like, "Well, act." And so it was like, "Oh, yeah." yeah, my so the people that I trust and respect, have a clear idea of what this is, and so I need to have a clear idea of what this is. And what it was for me an opportunity to show what I can do, especially as a green actor, as they would say. I looked at this role as, my opportunity to flex my acting muscles. It was very different than who I am, and I thought if I could pull this off, I can do anything. And so once I booked it, you know, I was proud of myself. I was proud of myself because I accomplished something that I didn't think I would be able to do. And then it was a matter of, making it believable on screen.
Mhm.
And I'm thankful to Patrick Ian Polk because without him, I know I wouldn't have been able to pull it off because it was his insight into that world that I was able to pull from. I'm the kind of actor where I call it third eye acting, where I need someone else with the vision that I can follow. And Patrick definitely had that vision.
Coming from South Central, is that's the hood, and we are, I'm from Southeast DC, we are um, kind of conditioned to look at sexuality as one particular way. You either are getting a lot of woman and a lot of coochie, or, you're
You a
failing as a
sucker.
man. So did that play a lot into your reservations of tackling such a complex character and storyline?
Um, no,
No.
didn't. No. I mean, my concerns were what the casting directors would think of me. It wasn't about what the homies would think. It wasn't about what my family would think. I thank God I've been Jensen Atwood for a long time and very secure in who I am and what I am. And those that people that know me, they really do know me because I wear my heart on my sleeve and there's not a lot of guessing when it comes to me. And so I didn't that was not even a question in my mind. And and on the flip side of that, as far as the stereotypical ideology in the hood, I'm that guy. So, I mean, in the sense of questioning me, which really it it becomes something even different than even questioning me. It's almost a chance to belittle me, you
Hmm.
know, and that's not possible either because of what my ideas are. So if somebody was to call me gay, some of the most amazing people in my life are gay. So you're not offending me, and on top of that, it's a testament to my work because if you call me gay, you don't really know who I am, but you're very familiar with my work, and I applaud that.
You had never dealt with any homophobia. You never been like homophobic or anything like that.
No, no, I've never been homophobic. Like I said, I've always been secure in who and what I am, and I was like even bringing it back to high school. I was captain of the football team. I was, vice president of Young Black Scholars in my school. I was commissioner of publicity in leadership. I was very much a part of the community of school and was a known figure. People knew who I was. And so if somebody was being bullied, that gave me a chance to flex my muscle. because I never was a bully, and I that never sat well with me picking on people, you know. But what I do enjoy is people who think they shit don't stink, and I'm able to step up and let them know that I believe in equality.
Yeah.
And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're trying to punk somebody, you probably should get ready to be punked. And so yeah, it never was a thing to me.
How'd you learn that so early? You know, equality and fairness, especially coming up in the Black community where, a lot of people do have issues with sexuality.
I'm sure my mom has something to do with it. I'm sure my grandmother has something to do with it. I'm sure um, being showed that I'm loved throughout my life, you know, has something to do with it. But I just without putting any deep thought into it, truth. I just believe in truth, and s- I, there's nothing that clicked in my head that said someone should be judged off of their sexuality.
Mm,
And so for me, that truth, you know, was the most important, or that's it stood out the most. You know, I don't like this person because of who they like. That doesn't seem like a real truth. You don't like people because of, negative things that they do against you. That's a reason for not liking someone. But not liking someone for something that has no no effect on your own life was weird to me.
being able to accept people's truths. Why do so many Black men struggle with that?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I think there's more than one reason, probably. Um, I what comes to mind first is weakness.
Mm,
I think what is taught to us Black men is gay equals weak. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons, one of the driving reasons um it's so hard for Black men, to get past, you know, even the taboo of talking about it, because that fear of even the idea of being thought of as less than or weak. And and that's not my ideology, but I think that in our communities, that's kind of what we were taught. I used to use the F word a lot, a lot. I never thought twice about it. It was something that everybody did. It was part of the culture. And then I got to a point where I was hanging around uh, a really good friend of mine, Marvin, and I dropped the F bomb once, and and his whole demeanor changed, and he kind of was like, "Yeah, and so what?" Which I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why are you tripping right now?" Like, not even grasping that I had just offended my friend, that I had just said some shit that was unintentional, and I didn't like the way it affected my friend.
mm,
And we had to talk. And he told me, he said, you using that word is offensive to me. And I had to really look at myself as to why I was using that. And clearly my intent wasn't to offend my friend, somebody who I love and care about. And so I had to fix myself and grasp the and no, not grasp, and unlearn a lot of the things that I was taught just even as a kid. So
Thank you. And thank you for your transparency around the ways that you've had to grow and become better. So thank you.
my pleasure, brother.
So next question, of course, it's one thing when you are playing opposite to Halle Berry or, in these romantic comedies or something where the girls are, screeching because you are embodying their ideal man. How have you handled being kind of a sex symbol for a lot of black gay men?
I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I try not to buy into other people's ideas. And so, whether that be positive or negative, I just try not to buy in that way. It makes my life a lot easier, and it makes my life make a lot more sense. You know, um, if 1,000 people told me that I was ugly and I didn't, and they hated my acting, how would that move me? If 1,000 people told me I was the finest thing they ever seen in their whole lives and I'm the greatest actor in the world, how is that to move me? I'd rather not be moved either way. You know, I rather, you know, I rather not buy into it. It's just people's opinions. And I don't want it to sway me one way or another of the path I'm already on,
Yeah.
you know. So, that's how I look at it. It is what it is.
Yeah. What has been some of the feedback that you've gotten from the community or families or people about being a part of the series and your work?
In majority is a lot of like what you just said, um thanking me for taking on the role, appreciative of the job that I did. You know, I want to say that that's majority of the yeah, I'm embraced. I've been embraced, and it feels good. I'm very much a part of the community, you know, and at the most random times, unexpectedly, the community lets me know that they have my back. Um, and and it feels good, you know. Um, I keep getting lost in my thoughts. What was the question? Oh, reaction. Oh, yeah, I know what I wanted to say. Now, and that's been the majority. And again, this we started Noah's Ark in like 2001, so it's been 20 plus years. Um, there is a small fraction, and when I say small, I mean minuscule fraction that, and I think this is like a new school, new world way of thinking or something, but I have had, you know, a little there are people who think that only gay people should play gay roles. And so I've got a little pushback in that way in the last couple years. And
Is that from the community or is that from the
well,
industry?
I want to say individuals, individuals who are part of the community, but I definitely wouldn't say that they are the community because
Yeah.
the community in general that I'm very much a part of, you know, respects what I do and what I've done and appreciates, you know, what I've done. So yeah, but I just thought it was interesting that, a couple people have popped up here and there to tell me what I should and shouldn't be doing with my choices in my acting roles.
For any haters, on behalf of Jensen Atwood, let me say you can sit on your middle finger and spin. So,
It's just dumb, but it's just dumb to speak on it for, a second. It's just dumb.
yeah.
It's like cutting your nose off to spite your face. It's dumb. If you have an ally, if you have somebody that's on your side, don't try to make them your enemy, or don't try to push them against you. And on top of that, could you imagine if there people were in an uproar because only gay guys should play gay roles?
How limiting is that, right?
Are you are you crazy? Like what? Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.
What did you learn about the community being a part of Noah's Ark?
Wow. I don't know. I feel like that's I could go on and on as far as all the things that I've learned and the things that I continue to learn as well. Um, I guess one of the things that come into my head, is I don't know, Rodney for whatever reason is popping into my mind. Um, it was not an easy time for me. Um, and Rodney embraced me like a grandmother. That's the only way I can really think of it, because I mean, Ronnie's such an amazing man, and his motherly instincts to protect me, you know, were clear from day one. And so I wasn't necessarily comfortable in everything that we were doing, because we were doing like a lot of promotions in, like, shit, early 2000s. And so, we would be in San Francisco, going to all the popular clubs to promote. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like, God damn, there's a lot of men.
Yeah.
And Rodney always made sure that I felt comfortable. He would go out of his way to make sure that I felt comfortable. And so what did I learn, being a part of the community? Love,
Yeah.
you know, um, I don't know what the word, but the protection of family that necessarily wasn't my family. I could feel that. I felt that in the community. I felt that in the groups of guys, that took on each other as family. Yeah, Rodney would make me feel safe. And so I felt a a bond of love from another black man that really was missing, to be honest. And I've been able to carry that with me in my own hetero life, when it comes to my homeboys that are also straight. I don't hold back. I they get all the hugs, they get all the I love yous, and in the straight community, it might seem a little gay, you
Yeah.
know, and they might want to label it as uh, weak, but I've never felt stronger.
When you were doing the series, what was the most memorable scene for you? Like what scene when you were shooting the either the series or the films has stayed with you the most? For a lot of people, it was the hospital scene when Wade and Noah broke up and they were crying in the lobby, and that is a moment. But for you, like what stays with you?
That is the first thing that popped into my mind. There's two, and that's definitely one. The I don't hate you, I love you. To me, that was, profound on so many different levels, not only with just the characters, but in real life, my relationship with other black men, my relationship with the community as a straight man. There was just so many layers of, you know, I don't hate you, I love you. And from an acting perspective, you know, Patrick pulled me to the side for that. And I was able to internalize things a lot more because of the conversation him and I had, you know, and I've been able to carry that with me in my craft as well. Um, and so that's another reason why that particular scene stands out to me even to this day. And then the other one was uh, Wade being a fucking superhero and going find those dudes and beating their ass. It felt so powerful. It felt so like, I don't know, the vengefulness of it all, the payback of it all, the 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 toughness of it all.
Yeah.
I love that shit. The coming to the rescue, all of that. I just love the way that it was written. And even the shots, like it was even so that basically the cameraman laid on his back with the camera and a pad, and that's how we got the shot. Me over him, fucking going, punching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's some real shit.
Those are some great scenes. Let's shift into what you're doing now. So we can currently see you on BET's Family Business New Orleans.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
baby.
Tell us about your involvement with this series and what we can expect to see from you and why we need to be tuning in.
Oh man, I'm excited for this one. I play Saint on Carl Weber's The Family Business New Orleans. It premieres January 23rd. 8 episodes. I am in all 8 episodes. Yes, indeed. I am Jean LeBlanc's right-hand man, which is played by David Banner. Um, and we are part of the Crescent Boys, which my little brother is Quincy. Um, his character's name is Prince. And the Duncans have uh, the Duncans that live in New Orleans have a problem. And that problem is Saint and the Crescent Boys.
What would you like to accomplish in this journey that are on this journey that you're on, and what would you like for your legacy to be?
I want to be able to touch every role possible. Still haven't done a Western. I want to do a Western. Still haven't done a military movie. I want to do a military movie. Still haven't done a vampire movie. I want to do a vampire movie. I mean, I just want the opportunity to do it all. So just continue to work is the goal. Uh, my name, Jensen Atwood, to be a commodity, without me. That's the goal. So where people want to hire me just because they know those those letters on their project would will add value. So that's the goal. My legacy. Incredible actor. I definitely want people to say that. Um, hmm. I don't know how else to. I don't know the fancy word I'm looking for to say the other part of this. But something to do with humanity, something to do with helping humanity. Yeah.